race fans. Welcome to another episode of Short Track Guys podcast, brought to you by ShortTrackExclusives.com. I'm your host, Thomas Battis, along with two other Short Track guys, and you know them well by now. The driver of the 07 Can'tQuitFishing.com and sportsman winner this past Friday night, Jim Pokrant, and Ted Baber of Ted Baber Video Productions, also here locally in Pensacola, Florida. What's up, guys?
Awesome weekend. I had a great time, that's for sure.
Can you get it? Amen.
Yeah, Jim, we talked about this in the previous episode, and, you got the points lead here a few races ago, and you've been holding on to it, and tell us what happened this past Friday night.
Well, we qualified first 2 weeks in a row. We're fastest qualifier, which I thought was funny because for me, the car was pushing like a truck, and I was no way. And I come down the back stretch on the pit road, and I happened to look up, and there's the 07, and I'm fastest qualifier. And I just shook my head. I said, man, there's just no way. So we go up to roll the dice, which I told y'all I stink at, and I had a little kid that was up there, rolled me a 5 again, so I had to start 5th. And so I went to get my sticker for my fastest qualifier. I went to Randy Bryant, and I said, hey, can I get my sticker? He said, yeah. When he pulled up the sticker for the feature win, for the fastest time qualifier, a feature win sticker was stuck to it. And he goes, here, take this way, you'll probably need it later. And I was like, okay. I let Ted here keep it while he was up there filming them. I don't want it in my pits because it'll jinx us. Mm-hmm. So we started 5th, dropped the green, go to shift into high gear. The car won't go into high gear. I'm running around there bouncing off the rev chip, just for half the straightaway. Everybody's looking at me. People are dodging me. I don't know what's wrong. I'm trying to get it into gear. I'm yelling on the radio, and finally, like lap 4, it pops into high gear, so I take off. When I got the transmission out, the shifter arm was laying on the crossmember. How it got to 3rd gear, I have no idea, but it finally went in. So we took off and run about 3 laps, and we had a caution. Thank goodness. It closed us back up. Coming from the tail end, they dropped the green. I pass a couple cars. I get 3 wide down the back stretch. I get smart and back out. The guy that was on the outside decided to lock his brakes and blame that on me. And we finally passed them. And we got up to in the top 5. And I got underneath Tommy Blocker, which I was underneath him, and I'm watching him in the mirror, and he's turning left and not even looking. I touched him, and he spun out, so I figured I'd get black flag for that. But no, they saw what happened. So we're in the top 5. We go green again, and it's the 11 car, Jeremy Tassin, is leading, the 00 second, Maddox Langham's 3rd, the 19 car's 4th, and I'm 5th. We go down the front straightaway, and the 1 car and the 19 get together just a little bit, and when they do, it kills the momentum of the 1 car. Well, I'm on his bumper. I touch him. He spins. I thought, oh boy, let me send to the rear for this. No, because even his own father admitted that he spun out. So now we're 3rd. We got by the 19. We're in 3rd place. We go green again, and I forgot to mention my clutch is slipping. On top of all of this, every restart, it takes off because I got gear oil all over my clutch because my transmission's now just deciding to really mess up. It's dumping gear oil everywhere. So we go green, and I get to 3rd, and I'm running along there in 3rd place, and we get around the 00, him and the 11 battle, and I caught Jeremy Tassin with like 5 laps to go, and I worked him for like 2 laps. And the kid drove a heck of a race, and he's a good kid, and I think the world of him, but I wanted to win, and I passed him, got by him with 3 laps to go, and took off. And it was just a great blessing and a wonderful race to win, coming from the back, having the adversity with the transmission, slipping clutch. And it was just meant to be. It was just a meant-to-be race. First time I've ever been fastest qualifier and winner of the feature. That was cool. And, I got to thank all my sponsors, Can't Quit Fishing, my buddy at Emerald Coast, Ted Baber, my friends Martin. Will couldn't be there because he had surgery on his shoulder, but we had Ben. Ben Cranford was there to help us. And it was an awesome night, man. My crew, the rest of my team was in the grandstands. They got to see everything. So it was an awesome night, man. We really deserved that one. That was a hard-fought battle. And it's cool coming from the back, being fastest qualifier, having the problems I had, come from the back and still win the thing. So,
well, congratulations, Jim. I mean, we've talked about it in our last episode. You said you wanted to win the championship and not without winning a feature, and I just kind of figured that when I saw you set the fast time, and I was like, it's going to be his night, and now you got a 36-point lead, and Ted, you were there the whole entire time. What say you?
My take on it was, as Jim said, given the history of the administration, I'll just put it like that. Every time something happened on the track, I'm like, oh boy, here we go again. But every time they went back to the original the lineup and Jim wasn't punished, I'm like, okay, that was great.
Yeah, I kept worrying about it. And here's the other thing, too. We were on old tires. We still haven't got any new tires. This next race is going to be the same thing. And all the rumblings of Jim's on soaks. Jim took his tires home, soaked them. Dude, I welcome anyone to inspect my race car because I'm not cheating. I don't do it. I can't afford it. Cheating costs too much money. And I can run with them and beat them with a legal race car, which is even better because I pass tech every time I go. And they're checking fuel and they're complaining about fuel or whatever they're doing. And, whatever. I mean, they can tech my car. I invite anybody and bring you a creeper and crawl in there and find something.
Right.
I'm there to win legally because when I win, I don't want any questions.
Right. It just reminded me of Bubba when he came from the back so far and won that race. It was like, wow, it was a Bubba Pollard race.
Yeah, pretty much. But just not being able to get into the gear, I almost come down pit road. I said, I'll go one more lap. And I got down the backstretch and I got my foot in the clutch. And I grabbed the shifter and I just shoved it up and it went foom, foom. And I felt it fall into third gear. And I thought, okay. The bad part is when I got home and pulled the transmission out, all the detent stuff inside the side cover, which holds the car in gear, was laying in the bottom of the transmission. And there was nothing to keep that thing from popping out of gear, but somehow it stayed in gear the entire race. And I was blessed that night. That was an awesome win. It was just a great show. Everybody told me that I've heard said that's the best sportsman race they've seen all year. And I get to win it, so that's cool.
Yeah, I believe it. And you got now a little break with three races left, and we come back on the August 20th with the Alan Turner Pro Late model race number 3, and that'll be the first of 3 races left. And you've got some things to buckle up and then get back in there and just kind of keep your nose clean and finish this thing out and put that purple jacket on, and we'll go work on the Derby.
Yeah, that's the plan. Like I said, there's a couple of teams that are a little miffed at me, but the majority of those guys, one of them, I didn't intentionally turn him, but I owed him one from a few years ago. He smooth wrecked me one night, but I didn't do it to him on purpose. It was just hard racing. When I'm driving up beside you and my nose gets to your door and you don't even look in your mirror or nothing, or your spotter, you need to get a new spotter because I was there. And I had to lock the brakes to keep from wrecking him, and I barely nicked him, and around he went. So it was just hard racing. I mean, it's, that's the thing about it. It's just we're out there racing hard. We all want to win, and I wouldn't run. I would have, if I couldn't have passed Jeremy Tassin clean, I wouldn't have done it. I would have gladly finished second in that race. But he made a mistake down the backstretch, and it gave me enough room to get under him. I was under him one time, and he started down, and I know who his spotter is, and nothing against him. He's a good guy, but I guarantee he was telling him to get down to the bottom as quickly as he could. He tried. It didn't work for him, and we ended up winning. And like I said, it was amazing when I got near the front around the real drivers. I never had any problem with anybody. I mean, all the Mobile, Pensacola guys that I race with, I never have a problem with them. We race each other hard, and we can touch each other, and there's no hard feelings. But, man, some of these guys from Mobile, it's like you touch their car, and they want to scream and yell and just act silly.
Yeah, if you can watch the in-car from many of your races, just watching the tail end of those cars, they are prepared at any second to go around.
Oh, they're loose.
It doesn't take much.
They're loose. I mean, Mobile's got better grip, and they run the cars looser over there, and they think they can come over that loose setup. It don't work here.
No.
It doesn't work. But, I mean, and just real quick, I love racing everybody, and it's fun. But when you beat on me and nothing happens, I mean, there's times I come in the restart, and there's certain drivers, like, bouncing off my door coming into the restart zone. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, he's going to knock me out of the way. And that's okay. But I drive in 3 wide down the back straightaway, and I thought better of it. I lifted, and he locked his brakes, and he blamed that on me, too. It's like, dude, you did that. I had nothing to do with it. You're driving like a rookie. No. I said, you're lucky. Driving like a rookie would have been I drove it all the way in there, and then we all would have crashed. It would have been a hell of a crash. But yeah. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
That's one of those things that happens after the race, with that the adrenaline's going and, your tempers are flaring and just the excitement and everything.
Yeah.
And then it calms down and then you go on and just go to the next race and everything's.
Well, that's another thing about racing. People are keyboard warriors. They get on Facebook and they threaten people. And they don't realize that when you threaten somebody on Facebook and then you go through with it, well, not only do we have proof that you threatened to do it, then you did it. You can also, people don't realize that you go running into somebody with that race car, you can be brought up on charges. That's assault with a deadly weapon. People do not think that just because you're on a racetrack you can do what you want. You can't. You can go to jail. I had Robbie Way explain that to me a few years ago.
In no uncertain terms.
Yeah, you run over somebody in the pits or hit somebody and they hurt somebody, guess what? You're going to jail.
Yeah.
And you're going to get charged. So, we're just out there having fun. Ain't none of us going to NASCAR. And I haven't wrecked anybody intentionally in a very long time. I have done it in the past, which was stupid on my part. I'll admit it. But, there are times when, but it just amazes me how these people are all Earnhardt. Nothing against Dale Earnhardt. Don't get me wrong. I'm not an Earnhardt fan. I was a Darrell Waltrip fan. But all these folks are all talking about how Earnhardt beat on everybody and wrecked people and blah, blah, blah. But somebody bumps him and, boy, God, they turn into damn Jerry Nadeau or somebody. Hey, don't touch my car. If you're not willing to get some scratches, don't bring it to the racetrack. That's all I can tell you.
Get that thing buttoned up and go back out there on the 20th with the Alan Turner Purple 8 model race number 3.
Yep.
And, just mind your business.
That's the game plan. I'm having a team meeting tomorrow night, and we're going to discuss things. And I have another car at my disposal if something happens to mine, so we're ready to go. I mean, I could run my buddy's Pure Stock for the last 2 races if I have to. So we'll be fine. We're going to win this championship. We're just going to keep our heads down, stay legal, and keep digging.
I believe that wholeheartedly, really. I mean, I'm sorry I didn't congratulate you before, but, it's certainly a congratulatory statement knowing that, you've worked hard all this time I've known you. I know you've had feature wins before, but that elusive championship and then the Derby's the next. So one step at a time, you get the championship, and then you go after that one race Derby and put it all to rest, and then, we'll see what happens next season.
Yeah, and next year is going to be my last full season in racing. I'm going to semi-retire because I want to go do other things. I mean, I love racing, and I want to do this podcast with you guys forever. And I'm ready to do other things and enjoy some other things in life, travel a little bit, maybe go to some other racetracks just to have some fun. But this sport is what I love, and it's my passion. People say, you don't hunt. I don't fish. I race cars. That's what I do as my hobby. It's what I love. And I wouldn't know either one of you guys if it wasn't for this. And I wouldn't have a shot at this if it weren't for Ted, helping me out on occasion and just believing in me. That's the other thing is Martin and Will and those guys believe in me. They know I can do it. They're like, dude, you can do this. I mean, Martin was on the radio Friday night when I was fussing about something. He's like, just get on the wheel. Just get on the wheel. Don't worry about it. Just drive the car. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it takes. Just keep going. We're going to do that, and I'd like to give a real not to change the subject a little bit, but we got last episode we had the Uptown Motor Cars Super Late model race at Slinger with Rich Bickle, one of our guys that we've talked about numerous times that had a pretty scary crash at Slinger.
Oh yeah,
when he got into Nick Wagner in the back straightaway battling for 5th or 6th. Just to everybody know, if you haven't seen the video, it's on our Facebook page.
That was vicious. He climbed the wall, and, he destroyed that car. It's junk. And for a guy who's 60 years old, he's pretty tough. So I'm glad he's okay. Got back in and ran that race in another car. So, he didn't sit out any, so he's ready.
Yeah, and congratulations, to the winners, R.J. Braun and Ryan DiStefano, Luke Fenhouse, which we've talked about too, and Steve Apel, Brad Keese, all those guys, and just everything that comes from Slinger, man, it comes down here that competes with the Southern Super Series at Five Flag Speedway. They can run in Montgomery, they run in Nashville. Just my hats off to those guys, but we're just happy that Rich is able to walk away from that with just what they said was just a bruised ego.
Yeah, the car was destroyed. Real quick shout out to also Friday night winner, first time at Five Flags, Jake Finch. Mm-hmm. James Finch's son won the Outlaw Stock 50 lapper, which was a great show. Bubba Winslow put on the best show, started 11th, drove all the way up to 2nd, and could have moved James Jake out of the way, but he decided not to, and it ended up being an exciting finish. And also to Caleb Burkett for winning the Pure Stock feature, not in his normal car. He's driving his dad's old Sportsman. They turned it back into a Pure Stock, and man, he got out front and drove off into the sunset. I just want to congratulate those two guys on a heck of a race on their own.
Yeah, it was quite a show. That Outlaw race was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Jake is coming along quick. Yep. He's already won a super race in New Smyrna, and that Outlaw stock car, they got that thing flying. He was fastest qualifier, too.
And Jake Finch actually has a pretty famous father behind all that, too.
Oh, yeah, you think?
Yeah.
A very, very wealthy father. You know what I mean? And one of the coolest guys ever to be a car owner, James Finch. Yeah. I mean, I met him in Panama City one time. Like, I don't know if I've told the story on the air, but I asked somebody, I said, which one's Finch? He said he'll have a leather vest, a ball cap, and he'll have a red Solo cup with crown in it, and he'll have a hot blonde on one arm. And there he come around the corner with a hot blonde on one arm. He had that cup of crown. He introduced himself and told everybody to have a great time, and he'd be around if anybody wanted to talk to him. So I thought that was pretty. He's a down-to-earth guy. He don't ever act like he's better than everybody else, but he's got a ton of money.
Right. And some of the notables there with that race was Alex Prunty and Dennis Prunty, finishing 11th and 16th, I think. Rich Bickle ended up finishing in the end, but he did set on the pole.
He was fastest qualifier.
Fastest qualifier, and wish him all the best, and glad that he was walking away from that. And I can't wait to see more of his success, and then maybe towards the end of the year with the Derby, to get another win before then, or if not the Derby, and just finalize his career.
Yeah, definitely. He's a great guy. And he drove for my hero, Darrell Waltrip, in the Truck Series and won races and almost was the Truck Series champion. So, dude's got a ton of talent.
Yep. This past Friday and Saturday night, August 6th and 7th, we went to the Springport, Michigan, at the Mid-Michigan Speedway, the Hot Shoe 100, which is comparable to some of the Blizzard races and Southern Super Series races around the Southeast, and maybe in a modified situation with a $10,000 to win, $5,000 to start.
Damn.
It was a pretty big deal, and Blake Rowe ended up winning his second straight Hot Shoe 100 and walked away with $10,031. David McManus, Trevor Berry, Curtis Spencer, and Jeff Ganaus rounded up the top five. So, and those guys put a heck of a show. That replay is actually on our Facebook page if you want to watch the last, 10 or 15 laps and the highlights. It was a pretty spectacular modified race. And I've said this before in other episodes. I love those modifieds. The open wheel modifieds they're just bad to the bone to me.
Yep.
There's a guy, and I can't think of his name. He races the number 13 car that comes down here from Ohio sometimes and runs the modified of Mayhem. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he ran here on a Friday night and ran Michigan on a Saturday night. So he left. He loaded up as soon as the race was over. He won here, went up to Michigan and won. I can't think of his name, but I can see he's number 13. Dude, I mean, he dominated here and then went to Michigan and won. I mean, literally they loaded up. He got in the truck and they drove straight through to Michigan.
That is a long ride, I can tell you.
Oh my God, can you imagine? And then do it enough to go race again, and then have to get the car ready for another race when you get there.
Another race, another track, completely different setup situation.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, I like that kind of stuff, man. That's pretty cool. I would love to have enough money to be able to do stuff like that. I don't know, Oxford's running this weekend. Why don't we go to Maine? Okay, let's go to Maine and just load up and go, Get you a big motorhome with a big trailer and just tow away and go where you want to. And
you just need 6 numbers.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm going to play that this weekend. You never know. Yeah. If I do, we're going to have a Short Track Guys podcast on a bus headed to some racetrack because that's what we're going to do. We're going to have fun. That's it. What we're going to do is I'm going to buy 40 acres of land and we'll build us some houses and we'll have us our own racing compound. Oh. We won't have to worry about nothing. All of us will have our own homes and place to race and we'll go racing and have fun. But
what happened in Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway this weekend with the King of Wings as well as the Pro Late Model 50. Blaine Roca taking the win over William Hale, Dylan Petro, Hunter Wright, and Michael House. I mean, notables we had Christopher Tullis, which we spoke about.
Oh, yeah. He's won in Montgomery.
Yeah. Stacy Crane and Daniel Bolden, Michael Bolden, and Mason Mingus. They're with the Pro Late Model 50 in Nashville Fairground Speedway, and then the wing cars. Bobby Santos takes the win, and those guys on an asphalt track at fairgrounds, those wing sprints, it's like they come down a Five Flag Speedway and they just haul the mail.
I can't imagine on that high bank getting around Nashville, because that place is crazy. The banking and the groove is insane, and the damn sprint car, and it's yeah. I wish that's what I'm talking about, right? Like a race like that, we hear about it, go to it. It's Nashville. It's only like about a 7-hour drive from here.
Right.
Load up and get a hotel room, go up there and watch, and then come home. That's what I want to start doing, stuff like that. Because, go watch those sprint cars around Nashville. They're bad to the bone around Five Flag Speedway, but can you imagine Nashville?
With a bowl.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that replay is also on our Facebook page, too. And then that's what I'm saying. You get hooked up with Short Track Guys podcast on Facebook. You're going to get more than just the podcast episodes. You're going to get replays and highlights and interviews, and you're going to get a whole facet of short track racing, and that's what the three of us are all about.
A plethora of information.
Especially Five Flags. I know my Five Flag Speedway. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Five Flag Speedway, Mobile. Montgomery, Nashville, Birmingham.
Op.
South
Alabama Speedway.
South Alabama Speedway. Yeah, we're going to do...
I think congratulations to my buddy Jody Henderson. He ran Friday night at Five Flags. It went up to Op and won the feature, and they call them super stocks up there, but it's outlaw stock, same thing. He won the feature Saturday night, so that's pretty cool. My buddy Jody, I got to give him a shout out. Jody Henderson's pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, congratulations to the Hendersons. I've been up to Op with you, Jim, a couple of times and watched the Hendersons, and they've been in racing. I don't know, their generation goes back a good ways, and they're still at it. And my hat's off to them for digging and doing as well as they are.
Oh yeah. And Jody can drive a race car. I've seen him turn a car 90 degrees sideways in the middle of a corner, catch it back up, and then go catch the leader and win the race. Dude is just incredible. He's an incredible driver. He was one of those guys that when you looked over and he come over the hill, you're like, well, we're all racing for second tonight. Jody's going to win. He was good. He still is. Still got the talent, man. Dude's a great driver and a good friend.
Yeah, well, we've got a couple of more to go. We've got the Brant Professional Agriculture Qualifying Night, which starts tonight for the 60th annual NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals. Super late models for sportsmen, we're pure stocks, we're outlaws, we're pro trucks, we're non-wing, we're wing sprints, we're modifieds. We are three short track guys, and that's what we talk about when we try to cover as much as we can in just a short period of time on a weekly basis. But this Knoxville Nationals is going to be and everybody thinks about Knoxville Raceway as being in Knoxville, Tennessee, but it is where?
Knoxville, Iowa.
Knoxville, Iowa. About 30 miles southeast of Des Moines, Iowa. Happening tonight.
Famous track.
Oh, yeah, exactly, famous. And you talk about some of the names that are going to go up there. Donnie Schatz, Gio Scelzi, Terry McCarl, Danny Dietrich. Those are all Josh Bauman and Spencer Baston. They're all qualifying tonight, but then tomorrow night you've got Brock Zierfoss, Craig Kinzer, Brian Brown, Rico Abreu, Brad Sweet, Darren Pittman, Kyle Larson, Casey Kane, Sammy Swindell, and Shane Stewart.
Sammy Swindell is my favorite sprint car driver. Always was, always will be my hero. That dude was bad to the bone back in the day. Still is. He still can win.
Yeah. That Kyle who?
Kyle Larson. Yeah, the guy that's won like 5 Cup races 4 in a row, and he's won everything. He drives in dirt, including dirt late models. I wouldn't put him out of it for nothing.
Yeah, unless I think it was episode 3 or 4 or something. We brought up the Sammy Swindell situation with Kevin and Darren Pittman is actually in that Swindell Speed Lab stable, and he's going to be there, and they're qualifying tonight, tomorrow night, and I guess the feature will be Saturday night, but it's a huge race, and it's the wing sprints, and
huge Harry Cajones hanging in the floorboard because it's 410 sprints, it's balls out and get it done. That's always a great. I miss being able to watch sprint cars regularly like that, because we used to watch TNN used to have the World of Outlaws, and we could sit and watch a World of Outlaws feature. And man, you talk about those guys getting around there at 120 miles an hour sideways on a dirt track.
Oh yeah.
On that big ass steering wheel, just working that car, boy. You see them in there, just I mean, it's crazy.
And Ted, didn't you make a comment earlier that Kyle Larson might have a chance to win this one?
He might.
Small
Slight
possibility.
chance. Might get Dwight's wife shotgun a beer in Knoxville, Iowa.
I mean, ever since Kyle Larson had gotten into that issue where he just kind of got suspended and everything went on his way, it's like everything he got in, he's just started winning.
Okay.
And now he, I guess, did his time and then came back and got signed with Hendrick, and he's done what he's done with Hendrick. And then now all of a sudden, it doesn't matter. It's dirt late models, wing sprint, non-wings,
Well,
he's winning everything.
He won down in New Smyrna in an asphalt late model a few years ago, back before he was as famous as he is now.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude has won in just about everything you put him in. They need to put him in some sports cars and let him run some IMSA and stuff like that. Maybe the
Rolex.
24 hours, 24 hours Rolex, and get him a Rolex, because the dude has won in everything he's driven. I mean, the dude has more talent than anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I've not seen anybody that can jump in a sprint car, win Saturday night, jump in his cup car, win on Sunday, and dominate.
Yeah.
I mean, it don't matter. And everybody's like, well, it's 100 cars. No. Dude, the other 300 cars ain't winning as much as he is.
Right. The kid knows what he's doing. I mean, that's the bottom line. He knows what he's doing.
He
knew
feel.
what was going on before.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe he took a step back and said, reevaluate my situation and get back. And when I do have the opportunity, I'm taking full advantage of it.
Yep.
And he's lived up to every bit of that, because every time you turn around and, the Knoxville Nationals, it's like Tiger Woods. I'm going to get off the subject a little bit, but these PGA Tour guys go into a Sunday and Tiger Woods shows up and it's like, oh, everybody's playing for second today.
Yeah.
You know? So that's
much
what Kyle Larson shows up in a sprint car, and it's like, okay, well, we just hope we make it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing about that Knoxville Nationals. There's probably 70 sprint cars for, I think, 25 spots.
Oh,
Yeah, very few.
There's some guys that come down, they call themselves the Pennsylvania Posse and things like that. They'll come down and try to make a race like that, but they'll put all their money and eggs in one basket and try to get in. I mean, some of those races, just like the Derby, just making it.
Right.
Just being able to put that car on the starting grid Sunday is a big accomplishment.
Well, Craig Kinzer. I mean, Steve Kinzer's son, Rico Abreu, Brad Sweet, Darren Pittman with the Swindell stable, Kyle Larson, Casey Kane, Sammy Swindell, and Shane Stewart. Just tomorrow night, Thursday, qualifying.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, that you put 6 or 7 of those guys in the field, and you've got one
All-star field.
Yeah, one bleep of a race.
Yep.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the thing about short track racing. That's why, NASCAR's gotten so political and terrible and crappy.
Right.
And short track racing is where it's at, man. I mean, why would you not? Look at the big sprint car race at Tony Stewart's track. Eldora.
Yeah.
When Eldora has the dream late model race, there's 80 late models show up trying to make that show. Mm-hmm. And it's, $100,000 to win. I mean, $100,000 in a short track race.
Right.
That's insane. Right. But I mean, it's a great show. And that's the thing. Short track racing is a great show.
Yeah.
Get off your butt, put down the computer, put down the phone, take your butt to a local short track. There's one near you within driving distance. Load the kids, get in the car, and go watch some short track action. There's tons of tracks around our area. Tri-County, there's Southern, there's Five Flags, there's Mobile, there's Sunny South if you like watching little kids run go-karts. We have Pensacola Raceway Park for go-karts and sometimes compact cars. And, I mean, just pick a place and go. Support. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Well, the other night was $5 night, and the stands were absolutely packed out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that's a great way to do it. Lower the price and fill the stands up. You're gonna make the money in the concessions.
But you can't get promoters to understand that. They all think they gotta make a mint, which I understand they're trying to make a profit. It's a racetrack. That's why I said get your butt out there and support these local tracks. I hate people that go to dirt tracks and they come to Five Flags. Five Flags is boring. Have you watched the dirt late model race lately? A lot of times they get when the track, like I was over at Deep South Saturday night. Good track. I can't think of the guy's name that won the late model feature, but he's the son of a famous guy from around here, and he's a pretty good kid. But the track dry slick, nobody could pass. It was all bumper to bumper, everybody riding around on the bottom. Everybody heading on the extreme bottom. And it wasn't boring. It was exciting. But So's Five Flags. Sit out there and drink a beer with your buddies and talk racing. Good Lord. People don't do that stuff anymore. Back in the day, man, you'd go out to Five Flags and your buddies were sitting here having a beer and we were talking about what happened the week before. And, oh, man, did you go over to this track and see that? Or did you see this guy do this? Or, it was fun. We all sat around and talked about it. Now everybody's wanting to sit on their phone or play on the computer and not actually do the real thing. You don't have to race, but come support us. Come cheer for us.
Yeah, I used to set up and turn 4 and 5 flags, and I used to gamble on who was going to win each race. That's before, like in 2001 and 2, before I got started, and actually told the guys farewell. I'm not going to be a spectator, but that was when the spectator division was going on, and I left the stands and went down, and I spent 10 years down in the pits racing. But we used to take the red car, the blue car, the green car, or whatever, and put $2 in a pot and just see who won.
Yeah, I can remember being a kid sitting in the grandstands, and there was like about the 5th race I'd ever been out there, 5th or 6th race, and a guy rolled out in a car, and I said, "That's Niedeken's old car." And the guy that was with me said, "How do you know?" I said, "Because Junior raced that car a few weeks ago." No, he said, "We're walking down to the pits." And I walked up to Junior Niedeken, and I said, "That car?" He said, "Yeah, I sold it." He said, "How in the heck you 10-year-old kid know?" I pay attention. It's something that I love. I can talk racing forever, but that's the thing about it, man. We need more enthusiasm. We need more young people getting involved, and we need, the old guys to show up and watch. Get your wife, get your kids, come to the racetrack.
Yeah.
Eat a hot dog. Watch the race cars go around. Don't eat a hot dog, but watch the cars go around.
Yeah.
Because it's all about racing. Come to the infield. Get you a lawn chair and set up and drink some beer and watch some cars go around. We just need to support short track racing is my point.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for, and that's what we're here to promote. Not just our podcast, but our products and everything coming out soon. The Short Track Guys podcast on Facebook, shorttrackexclusives.com. Ted Baber Video Productions. Get in touch with Ted. The link is in our description. Jim Pokrant, JBP.
07 at Hotmail.
07 at Hotmail. You get in touch with him and just shoot short track racing with us and get involved and be a part of our family. We welcome you.
Yep.
And we've got one more coming up this weekend, the Southern Super Series at Crisp Motorsports Park. It's another $10,000 to win. Super late model race.
Ought to be a good show.
The Georgia Summer Nationals. They got 17 entries so far. Michael Atwell, Kyle Brandt, local, basically from Five Flags. His family's in Five Flags, but they're in the Navarre area. Daniel Dye, Jake Finch, we've talked about. George Gorham, Dalton Grindle, Corey Heim is now he's coming, in the ARCA series really hard with Ty Gibbs and all that stable. Stephen Nassy, Jet Nolan, Connor Okrezik, Kyle Plott, Bubba Pollard, our hero.
Yep.
Hunter Robbins, Chandler Smith, Spencer Bragg, and Collar Allman. The point leader, Stephen Nassy, the Jake Garcia and Jet Nolan are the top 3 in points in that Southern Super Series. But they'll be at Crisp this weekend. And short track racing, bring your family, go and spend some time, get in the stands and
have fun.
Enjoy racing. That's just what it's all about. We got to have fun. We got to have fun. Yeah. We can't let it die, because I'm telling you, man, people don't want to go anywhere. It's hot. I don't want to say, just get you a cold drink, get you a lawn chair, come out, enjoy racing, because it's what it's all about, man. Go fast, turn left, pick you a driver, cheer for him, find you a villain, have fun.
Well, guys,
thank you for everything y'all do. And with your support, Ted, with this trophy sitting here, I wouldn't be able to done it without your help, man. And thank you to all the guys that helped me out there, all my crew and my friends and the people in the stands and the well wishes that I got when I got home Friday night when I was sitting in Waffle House. My phone was blowing up on Facebook and Messenger and messages. Hey man, great job tonight, man. It was exciting. You did a great job tonight. Good. That does an old guy good.
I have to give a shout out to Ben and Martin for helping me out with another matter that I had hanging over my head. They came over and really did a bang up job on cleaning up some property that I've got.
Yeah, Ben and Martin are two awesome dudes. Yeah. And I helped you tear that trailer down at one time. So we trying to help friends out. That's what we do.
Yeah. I mean, it's a race. It's a short track racing family.
Exactly.
Regardless, behind the wheel or under the hood, but it's everything outside of that too. If somebody needs help,
Yeah.
To get things done. That's what it's all about. And I think that's what racing brings a lot of people together.
Right.
It does. It's the coolest sport ever. I'm sorry, there's nothing better than Saturday night short track or Friday night short track racing. You just can't convince me otherwise.
All right, guys. Well, we look forward to next Wednesday, and we've got another episode in the books. And we look forward to getting back together and maybe putting another win together.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to do my best.
Certainly the championship for sure, and then we'll get ready to talk about the Derby coming up here, and it's going to be, it's right around the corner.
Yep, it is. And I would love to go run it like up at Cordell this weekend, but I can't do it just yet. But we're going to work on that next year. But thanks for everybody for listening. Give us a good review on your podcast listening. And like I said, any ideas, shoot us an email and talk to us, because we would love to hear from you. And thank you for listening.
All right, Jim. Ted, thanks very much. We'll see you next week. Good night, everybody. Thanks for listening again.